cream of the crop. And there is no one that does it better than the Macho Man Randy Savage. Finally, the Rock has come back!
This is where the big boys play, huh?
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
I am the best wrestler in the world.
Climb the ladder, kid! Make yourself famous!
These two are kicking each other's ass.
Oh my God, what the heck? What did Titus just... I can't believe what I just saw.
I'm better than you, and you know it.
Your AEW Women's World Champion, Dr. Britt Baker.
August 20th, 2021, I'm back. It's showtime, folks!
Yeah, I haven't watched a pay-per-view live in years, like years and years and years, because it's too much. Like, it just ruins the next day, and then I've, got the boys and stuff, and see, trying to, like, life's tiring enough.
Yeah, that's the thing that really sucks for you living over or on the other end of this planet.
Absolutely,
the timing. It's like me with the World Cup and the Euros. I got to stay up and watch the matches at like 3 a.m.
I know, it's something we take for granted here. Is all of that stuff, all the football.
I loved it when I was in Brazil because that was like the only time when it's like on decent time for me.
Right enough, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, gosh. Where's the next World Cup? I'm not really into football, so I'm sort of...
It's supposed to be in Qatar.
Oh, right.
But
yes,
that's kind of controversial because, I don't know.
Paid for World Cup.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I think that America is supposed to get it, I think in like 2032, maybe.
Jesus.
Hopefully I'm still alive by then. Because I'd love to go to a match.
Oh, man. Yeah, don't be saying that now.
Honestly, my dream in life is to just go to like a bar in London and watch a match in there. That would be like the most fun experience for me, I think.
You should try watching rugby in a bar in Ireland. Or, Gaelic football or hurling or any of the sports that are sort of big over here in a bar, in an Irish bar.
I actually wouldn't mind watching rugby because I like that better than American football.
It's more interesting, I think. I think there's too many adverts and too many, I don't know what, downs. I don't know what they're called. But there's too much stopping and stop. It's all stop, 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 stop. Rugby's sort of similar, but it's less stopping. It's just, right, get on with the match. That's pretty much their goal, and people get hurt. So if you like violence and sport, it's a great combination. I think it's surprising that I'm sure there are quite a lot of wrestling fans that are into like rugby, but I'm surprised that I don't see more crossover on like Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, actually, rugby, it's not like we don't have like a league or anything, but it's very popular here, especially amongst like Pacific Islanders, like Samoans and like people from Guam and people like that, and Hawaiians. They tend to play a lot of rugby.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do the intro because we're wasting good chatting time here talking about it without introducing the show.
I mean, we can, with the power of editing, we can plug it in there somewhere.
Or I just go, welcome to the WrestleBlast podcast. My name's David Cardiff, and this is Andre Wickfield.
How's it going?
Yes, I'm going to be honest with you, we're just going to use that as our big intro.
Yeah.
Be super lazy and just have all that ramble and then introductions. Why not? Sure.
Yeah, we're just chilling.
Professionals here. Yeah, man. So you've been good? All good? Nothing
to be perfectly honest and fair, I've been a little bit depressed the past couple of weeks, but life happens. Okay. But I've been playing some good video games, so that's a plus.
Good distractions, yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing the new Forza Horizon, which I love. I just actually beat it, or the closest you can get to beating it, which is getting Hall of Fame rank or whatever. I've been playing that like crazy for 6 days because I got the premium edition, so I got it early a few days. What else? I've been replaying some of the Halo games in preparation for the new one. Replayed Alan Wake a couple times, the remaster, which is one of my all-time favorite games.
Me too. Yeah, I love Alan Wake.
Yeah, I love that game. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto Trilogy came out last night. Haven't really played it, but they basically remastered Vice City, San Andreas, and the third one. And I played it for about 5 minutes. It looks promising. I've never played the originals. I've only played San Andreas, but not 3 and Vice City, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it does look interesting. I like the look of it. I take it all the music is still licensed in the game. Is it still the same tracks, or have they substituted anything? Or?
I'm sure they've removed a few, but I mean, they still have a lot from what I've seen.
Yeah,
I believe they removed some Michael Jackson songs, which is a bummer, but
I wouldn't be. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm sure he has some kind of strict legal stuff going on with his licensing.
Yeah, not maybe a good image to have Michael Jackson associated with really anything nowadays. Just with
probably. That could be a reason too.
Yeah. Much like R. Kelly, which I have a note on in a moment.
Was he like the number 1 or something on the charts?
Pretty much. We'll get to it. 1999, man. An interesting year for music, anyway. Myself, I am busted, dude. I cycled to work yesterday. First time I had seen like some of my work colleagues in like nearly 2 years. And I thought, there's a girl who just joined us like 6 months ago, and so I thought, she's part of my team. I had never met her. I'll go to the office. She was going to the office. My boss was going to the office, so it seemed like a good time. And we only have 1 car now. We downgraded because of the pandemic. I don't need to have 2 cars to travel because the office was closed for nearly 2 years, and now we've got a new like hub. And so I was like, I'm going to cycle to work, and I live in like Bangor, so it's about 14 miles away from Belfast. I didn't cycle 14 miles. I cycled from my house to the train station and put the bike on the train.
Oh, okay.
But it's still about 3 miles from my house to the train station, just under 3 miles. So I got a train, and then it's another like maybe mile and a half down. We're based in like Titanic Quarter in Belfast. So like Bangor, where I live, is on the coast, down the coast, and then Belfast is sort of in that sort of little like looks like a little ditch.
Okay.
On the map of Northern Ireland. So and I'm pretty much, I work down where they built the Titanic and stuff, and it's kind of cool. There's like an old World War I battleship, like in pretty good. It's like one of the only surviving like decent condition World War I battleships, and it's literally outside the window. It's kind of crazy. But it was nice. But I was a tired boy when I got to work, man. I was busted. I haven't done any exercise in like a ridiculous amount of time. So unfit. And I got in, and it was okay after I like the initial shock of doing exercise at 6:30 in the morning, because again I needed to get on the train, and the train to get into work was at a certain time. The train takes time, so I had to get like an early train. So it was interesting. I haven't been on public transport in like nearly over 2 years, I would say. But it was kind of cool, and good seeing, people out and about, and then good seeing the guys and girls I work with and stuff. There's not everyone's in the office at the hub. It's just like a small collection of people that are in today, and you have to book to go into it and stuff. But it was the way home that killed me. It was like, I live on a hill, like one of the highest points in Bangor. And so I have just been so tired ever since doing that.
Yeah. I was going to say, cycling is arguably the best exercise that you can do. And I think once you get in a habit, you're going to love it, and it's going to be really good for your body. Because I had my reconstructive foot surgery in 2018, and I was so scared that I was not going to recover very well, and I was going to get weak because like I mentioned in a previous episode, I have like a muscle disease, so for me, gaining strength is very difficult. So I was so scared. I bought myself a stationary bike, and the day that I took off my boot, I started pedaling every day, and I've been doing that ever since, almost every day. I do about maybe 5 days a week, and I do about 9 to 10 miles a day. So I'm sure it's much easier than cycling in the real world, because in the real world you have all kind of ground, and you go uphill, downhill, so it's a little different. But Yeah, it's been really helping me. It just feels good, and it's a good habit to have.
Well, like,
cycling.
exercise is good for the mind, for mindfulness. You were saying you were feeling a bit down earlier. Today I did a course on we it's something, in my work anyway, we're mindful of, which is like mental health. So I did I completed a mental health first aider course. So I'm, a first aider in mental health and stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, exercise is, one of the things that we were sort of chatting about today in today's session. I've been doing it all week, so it's been kind of interesting. I learned a lot of stuff about, like, depression and stuff, and yeah, it's something that's been important to me because I've suffered through like bouts of depression and stuff, being made redundant. We've talked about that in the past, so yeah, keeping yourself fit and active, man. Good on you, like, and keep at it. And I was talking to myself earlier. I was thinking to myself earlier. That I might like do a bit of cycling each week and maybe go into the hub once a week.
Yeah.
And maybe try and do it that way, and that way I can I've got something to cycle to. At the moment I can't think of anything to like, I'm so lazy and like lethargic now because of like having to work from home and stuff, and it's so relaxing, and I sit here, the same place I do this. And it's kind of like, yeah, maybe if I take the time to sort of go up to the hub and speak to people, that'll help me sort of, get over those sort of social anxieties and the, I guess, like, like you go through little sort of bouts of isolation and stuff when you're working from home. So
yeah,
I think I'm going to do that too,
Yeah, it's always nice to have a goal. I noticed that when I'm riding a bike or even when I'm going for a walk, if I don't have a certain destination, I get tired much quicker for some reason. I think it's a mental thing, and I'm just so bored and I just don't want to do it. But when I have a goal, like, instead of walking in laps, I live like really close to a park, so a lot of times I go in laps, and that gets really boring. But when I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to this grocery store, it's a mile away, I'm just gonna go there and I'm gonna walk back, and it just makes it easier and better. So I think I like your idea of having a goal for when you're cycling.
Have a goal, somewhere to go to. Maybe that'll help you sort of get out a bit further and a bit further afield. I think it's always good to get out. Apart from that, I watched Dune. I went to the cinema
really?
last week.
You're a brave man.
So I know I was kind of worried about it, but I got talked into it, and it was to see Dune, and I like the story, Dune. Yeah. So I had the option of watching it not in the cinema, and I was like, and my friend, he was saying, no, you got to see this in the cinema. This is going to be epic. He'd watched it and he was like excited about it. The thought of seeing it in the cinema excited him, and he was like, come on. So I was like, okay, and let's do it. And it was good. Everything was socially distanced. Everything was clean. So the seats and stuff are all like recliners. They've like redone the entire cinema in Bangor, and it was really good. I was glad I went to see Dune in the cinema because it was like an epic film. It was like one of those masterpiece films where it's not going to be for everyone. It is science fiction after all, but like the storytelling I thought was great. The music was amazing, and like everything was like, you could have taken a screenshot of like every single still in the film, because there was just, everything seemed to be just beautiful the way they'd shot the entire movie. So that was cool.
Actually, a friend of mine has told me about that movie, and he said it was really good. I actually clicked on it on HBO Max the other night, but then I'm like, oh, it's midnight. This movie is almost 3 hours long. Yeah. I'm not gonna make it. I don't want to ruin the immersion of the movie, so I'll just save it for another night.
Yeah, stick it on another night. It is quite long. It is going to be 2 parts that they're going to do for it, so you got to bear that in mind, that it's not a complete story, but the story is sort of it's like, I would put it close to Empire Strikes Back in terms of, there's a nice progression throughout the film, and then it sort of ends on a bit of a note of like a cliffhanger, so give it a go. I think you'll really dig it. It is an epic. So yeah, get the headphones on, surround sound, whatever you've got, and just watch it and ignore the outside world for a while, and you'll hopefully really get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Days Gone, I've been playing that. I know it's an old one, came out on PlayStation 4.
I saw that on your Steam. I was looking at my Steam the other day, and I saw you were playing it, and I've been really curious what you think of it.
Really good so far. I mean, I haven't gone too far in the story. I've been, like any open world or semi-open world game, it's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go over here now. Oh, I'm gonna go over there now, and I'm gonna fix up my bike and just take time to sort of do stuff. But so far, really good.
Have
really
you
like
encountered a horde yet?
Oh yeah.
You did?
I thought that was kind of. I mean, when it first came out in the PlayStation, I was like super, like I was gonna get it, and then I think I just ended up selling my PlayStation 4 not long after and stuff, and PC, something on the PC probably caught my eye, but yeah, like the hordes are class. I used a horde to kill an entire camp of people.
Yeah.
And it was just basically rev the engine, get them to follow you, drive through a camp, and then just watch the camp implode with these zombies just overrunning. And I sort of thought, oh, the hordes aren't that big. And then I saw a horde climbing. It was like a watchtower inside of the base, and it was a stream of like zombies running up this thing, murdering the people at the top, and then just streaming back down. It was amazing. So yeah, really digging that. And
I love that game. I know a lot of people crapped on it when it first came out. I didn't even buy it when it first came out, but then when it was on sale, I bought it and I tried it, and I loved it. It's so good. I remember the first time. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen videos of hordes on YouTube or whatever. It's like, oh, that's cool. But when you actually encounter your first horde, it's like a holy shit moment. At least it was for me. The first horde I saw in that game, I was just like driving around or like running around, and I saw something moving out of the corner of my eye, like in the distance, and I thought it was like an animal or something. So I used my scope to see what it was, and it was just a bunch of zombies in a horde, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually want to replay that sometime soon.
Yeah, I mean, it came out in PC, and I was like, okay, I've no excuse now. So you can get it for a decent price if you look online for Steam. You'll find a nice key somewhere.
It actually has a patch on PS5 where it's 4K and 60 FPS. So basically,
wow,
it's worth replaying.
That. Yeah, definitely if you've got it. And yeah, Battlefield 2042, you can preload it. So that was what I was doing. I had to stop it just in case the audio quality or like this broke, so I was like, pause it. But
when does that game come out? Tonight or when?
19th, I think.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think I get early access because I'm a sucker for Battlefield, and I bought the gold edition, not the ultimate edition, which was like £100, and the only difference between the gold, which was 80 or 70, and the ultimate edition, which is like 100, was that you get an extra skin in the ultimate edition because EA liking to stick the hand in and just thieves, absolute thieves. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've seen a couple of new videos and stuff of like the hardwired mode, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. Just looks unbelievable. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
On the 19th, I'll be playing Pokemon because I'm a child.
Nice. Hey, nothing wrong with Pokemon. Is that the remaster of Diamond?
Yeah, the Diamond and Pearl remakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that doesn't look very good, but it's Pokemon, so I gotta give it a try.
You gotta catch them all, man.
Yeah.
Literally all of the Pokemon games in the world. You gotta catch them. There's that many of them. Okay, well, I guess we will start our pay-per-view. Well, just before we do our pay-per-view, we'll do our look back. So of course this is and I just wanted to mention as well, like, did you enjoy the remastered version of our podcast last week?
Actually, I did. Yeah, it was honestly fun to listen to.
I thought it was good too.
I don't really like listening to myself talk, but it was fun,
Neither
and
do
I really enjoyed Andy's contribution.
I did message him.
Yeah.
I did message him to see if he had any interest, and I don't know if he's watching a lot of wrestling, so it might be a no. I know, but I did ask him, so we'll see if he. I'll maybe hit another nudge. I'm planning to do like a Christmas like lunch with a couple of friends, so he'll be invited. So hopefully by that stage I can get him on board, and if not, then maybe I can speak to him at the dinner and see if I can get him on board. We'll see. I'll just keep nagging him until he agrees to do an episode. Sure.
And one thing I noticed in that review is that you gave us nicknames, and I remember just having a lot of fun with those.
Okay, mental note for next time then is I'm gonna have to invent some kind of ridiculous nickname.
Yeah.
And I do have, last episode I think at the end we were talking about this was off the podcast, went off the air. We were talking about what the next episode will be, and we decided we'd do like Survivor Series, a Survivor Series. I have come up with a Survivor Series, and it is not one of the early Survivor Series because. I know you weren't too fussed on the early WWF Survivor Series, so I've come up with a much better one. I think that will hopefully excite you by the end, because it's one of my favorite ones, and it's not from the early 1990s or 1986 or 1987, so we'll see.
Okay. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll keep that one under my hat until the end of the show.
All right.
But today's episode is ECW November to Remember 1999, which took place on November 7th, 1999, obviously, from Buffalo, New York, in the Burt Flickinger Center, which is a really interesting name. I have no idea who Burt Flickinger is. I didn't bother researching it. I'm sure it was somebody that they named a stadium after or a center. There you go.
It's probably some kind of community college.
Yeah, I don't know what the maximum capacity is, but they had 3,000 in attendance, or well, so says Wikipedia anyway.
Yeah, it probably was the maximum.
But November 7th, 1999, what else was happening? Well, movies, videos, and games, or whatever you want to, whatever order we want to have them in. There's quite a few bits and pieces out. I know that, in the last one, in the remastered episode, we'll call it, I did do a little sort of research on what was out at the time. That was sort of in the early stages of when I was like going back to look at the time. So we didn't do the top 10 in that one when you had like a couple of songs, a couple of games, all that sort of stuff. But I do have a better comprehensive list for this month. So that was May, I believe. ECW, what was it called? The pay-per-view? I've forgotten the last one we had on.
Anarchy Rules?
Was it Anarchy Rules? Was it the one we just did in the remastered? Anarchy Rules, or God, that's bad, isn't it? When you can't remember something you listen to the other day.
Oh, Living Dangerously.
Living Dangerously, yeah. That famous pay-per-view that everyone remembers. It's not Anarchy Rules and not November to Remember. Okay, so we'll start off with video games. That's our sort of bread and butter, what we like the most. November was pretty decent. This is just across November. This isn't like November, just what was out on November 7th, because nothing releases on a Sunday, I believe. This pay-per-view took place. But on the 10th of November 1999, we got NBA 2K.
The very first one.
I believe so, yeah. On the Sega Dreamcast as well. This is when Sega were still in the console game, I believe. We had Chrono Cross, which was out on the PlayStation, which I believe was made by Square, and it was an RPG. Classic. I don't think it's one I've ever played, but I am a fan of RPGs. One of my favorite Square RPGs is Vagrant Story, which I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before, but I'll mention it every time we talk about any kind of RPGs, I'm sure. The Longest Journey, which is sort of like an adventure game on PC, came out. We had Pokemon. You were talking about Pokemon. Well, Pokemon Silver and Gold version came out on November 21st of that month. And we had the very first Unreal Tournament. I don't know if you ever played Unreal Tournament. But,
I've played 2004 and I've played 3. But
yes,
I've never played the original.
Both of those. 2004 was my first one I played on the PC and absolutely loved it. And yeah, I played Unreal Tournament 3 and it was class.
I have a funny little story about that, if I may.
Yes, go for it.
First time I played Unreal Tournament 2004, I was a kid. I was like 13 or something like that. And I've never played online before, but I've always heard how amazing it is. So I booted up Unreal Tournament 2004 and I started playing it, and I destroyed everybody, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so good at this. And then later I realized I was playing against bots and not real people. So that was a disappointment.
Yeah. And then you went online and had lots of fun and did really well. Probably not. I died a lot in that game. Yeah, it's a tough game. It was even still to this day, those sort of Twitch shooters like, Quake and Doom and all those ones I'm just no good at. Battlefield I'm okay at, but those Twitch shooters where you've got to be super fast reactions, I suck at.
Yeah.
We had Donkey Kong 64 for the Nintendo 64. We had Gran Turismo. Well, actually, we're getting into December here, but I don't know if we're ever going to talk about a pay-per-view in 1999. But there was Gran Turismo 2 as well, and then Shenmue as well also came out in December that year. So the end of this year was end of November was pretty awesome into December. So
no Call of Duty, no Assassin's Creed.
Not yet invented, I don't think, at that stage. Not too long away, I think. But Call of Duty 1 on the PC, but yeah, not yet invented.
Yeah.
Moving over to music, the US box office, or US top 10, shall we say. Smooth by Santana featuring Rob Thomas.
Okay.
I remember this one.
I know that
This
song,
was big. This is big, yeah, Santana. We had Satisfy You by Puff Daddy featuring R. Kelly.
Good song, I gotta say, good song.
There is actually another one, but we'll get to that in a moment. With number 5 at number 3 by Lou Bega. I'm sure you know that. Everyone knows Mambo number 5. It was a complete brainworm or earworm.
Yeah.
We had Heartbreaker by Mariah Carey featuring Jay-Z.
Okay.
Which must have been like the very early stages of Jay-Z's career if he's featured on an album.
He's been around since about 96, I want to say.
Really?
Yeah.
In like a top sort of headline spot, or sort of...
Maybe not like at the very top yet, but kind of like middle of the way. Because Mariah Carey was pretty popular back then, so if she's getting a feature from him, so he must be worth something, you know?
Yeah. Well, there you go. We had Unpretty by TLC. We had that was at number 5. At number 6, Back at 1 by Brian McKnight. I have no idea who that is. We had number 7 was I Need to Know by Mark Anthony, who used to be married to Jennifer Lopez. I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember him. He was also in Man on Fire, which is also a great movie.
Oh yeah, okay.
We had this Denzel Washington. It's tremendous. If you've never seen Man on Fire, go out of your way and watch it. It is class. Number 8 was My Love Is Your Love by Whitney Houston.
Oh.
Everyone knows that one.
That's stuck in my head already.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs at number 9, Still My Sunshine by Lynn. Have you heard of this one?
Probably, but I'm not recognizing it at the moment.
Number 10 was You Drive Me Crazy by Britney Spears.
Yeah, I know that one, yeah.
Yeah. We're sort of moving into territory that I think most people sort of, from, I guess, the age of, 20? I don't know. I'm still surprised when somebody says they were born in, like, the 90s, but, like, I guess 2000 now is, like, people who are born in 2000 are, like 21 now.
Yeah, people born in 2003 are legal adults.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'm getting old. Anyway, moving over to the UK top 10 chart for in and around this date, the 7th of November. Number 1 was Lift Me Up by Jerry Halliwell. You know Jerry Halliwell, I'm sure.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think
Spice Girls, Jerry Halliwell. The ginger one at Spice Girls. No?
I'm not sure. I'm sure I've heard of him.
Getting old. I'm so old. Yeah, Jerry Halliwell was part of the Spice Girls. She was the ginger one.
If it was popular in the UK, then I'm sure it was popular in Russia too, which is where I lived at the time. So I'm sure I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah, sure. You've heard of the Spice Girls?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I thought I was getting really old there for a second. We had What I Am by Tintin Out, featuring Emma Bunton, who's also a Spice Girl. So we had 2 Spice Girls in number 1 and number 2. We had Keep On Moving by Five, who were, I'm pretty sure, a British boy band. Just pop. Number 4. Oh boy. We had If I Could Turn Back the Hands of Time by R. Kelly.
Oh, so you guys over there, you like R. Kelly, huh?
Apparently so.
You know what I'm going to say about R. Kelly?
That he wishes he could turn back the hands of time literally now.
As far as music goes, great musician, great songwriter, but he is the only artist that I 100% boycott. I don't listen to anything, and the reason for that is because 90% of his songs are very sexual, and I can't help but think that he's thinking of little girls as he sings sexual songs, and I just cannot.
Or boys, because he was, yes, he is a not a nice human being, should we say.
Yeah.
And we will leave it at that, but I bet he wishes he could turn back the hands of time. Number 5 was Waiting for Tonight by Jennifer Lopez. Everyone knows that one. Bomb Diggy by Another Level at number 6. Number 7 was I Try by Macy Gray. Number 8 was Flying Without Wings by Westlife. That staple Irish boy band from that time period. We had Genie in a Bottle at number 9 by Christina Aguilera. Yeah. And we had Savage Garden, because it was the 90s, at number 10 with I Knew I Loved You. There you go. So that was UK charts.
I'm surprised how different they are from American charts. Really interesting.
How bad the UK has of their music tastes are. Yeah,
I wouldn't say that. I'm pretty diverse with my music. I like some garbage. Actually, I like a lot of it.
There's a lot of garbage in there. I mean, at the time, I keep shitting on the music from the time, because at that time I was into like heavy metal, rock, anything that wasn't in the charts. I would have been like one of those kids that would have been just like, like grunge still, and just vehemently against anything in the charts. Yeah. But I did listen to that stuff.
You would be in the crowd at November to Remember.
Yeah, if I could have been there, I would have probably been there, because I was massively into ECW at the time, and yeah, definitely not a fan of the chart music. But it did play every day in technical college when I was studying art and design, and that was you had to vote on the music that you wanted on the radio, and every time everyone else won. So usually I'd be sitting there with my headphones on, or if the batteries were dead in my CD player, my portable CD player, I would have to listen to the chart music. So I'm familiar with a lot of that stuff. So going over to the movies, we'll not do all of these. I'll just pick out some of the sort of impressive ones that I thought were kind of cool. So these were films that were in the cinema at the time. Number 1 at that time was The Bone Collector. Have you ever seen this?
Oh, that's another Denzel movie, right?
It is. Denzel and Angelina Jolie. Oh, man. Actually, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a watch. It's really good. I think anything with Denzel Washington. I don't think I've seen a bad movie with Denzel, so give that one a go. The House on Haunted Hill, number 2, which I don't remember. I may have seen at some stage, but I don't honestly remember. At this time as well, just skipping down a few, because some of them I don't recognize at all. We had American Beauty, which was massive at the time. We had The Sixth Sense, which was the number 9 box office movie at that time. And we had Fight Club at that time, was still in the cinema. And a lot of other ones, but nothing too important. There's a lot of films. You can go up, if you're interested, you can go online and have a look and see what there is at that stage. But those are the ones that I would recognize, and I think are probably a little bit more popular than some of the other ones on that list. So yeah. So there we go. Moving on to the show then.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so the show starts. We get Joey Styles and Don Callis, and they are in the ring, surrounded by the rabid ECW fans. They're all chanting, and it's typical ECW fare at that stage. Cyrus cuts a fairly generic self-promo, and then we get Joel Gertner coming out, and I thought it was kind of tame, this Joel Gertner promo.
I don't even know who that is.
So he's the guy who comes out in the neck brace all the time. Do you remember? I don't know if it was cut in the version you were watching.
No. I mean, I remember. I mean, when I was watching this and I saw him, I had no idea who he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was on the last show we did.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure. I'm almost sure he was on the last show, unless I've completely compounded Joel Gertner experiences in my life and just...
He might have been.
A lot of the times...
My memory's just not good sometimes.
A lot of the times what he says is not acceptable today.
Okay.
So it's a... I mean, it was the generic sort of filthy promo he cuts about himself, saying he's all this and that and stuff. We get Taz coming out, and the crowd chant, "You sold out," because this is the last pay-per-view for Taz for ECW in 1999. He would appear in the Royal Rumble in 2000 and come out. The WWE, I think they were starting to be called at that stage, maybe WWF still.
No, they're still F. Yeah.
They were doing those really cool promos for Taz where it was just the 13 would appear on it. Somebody would have a match and then they would flash the 13, which was his tattoo on the side. And it would flash it on screen and stuff. And they did that for like a month, I think, to build up Taz. And then eventually, Royal Rumble, Kurt Angle makes a challenge, doing the whole, give it your all, give it the 3 eyes. And Taz comes out, and it's one of the best, I think, debuts for like a wrestler at that stage. And then it just went.
And that was it. That was the peak of his WWF
that was
career.
It. Taz disappeared after that, and then he appeared in AEW many years later. So there you go.
For me,
Taz.
I know.
Sorry, go ahead.
I know Taz as a commentator because that's how I was introduced to him, and he was somewhat of a comedic commentator on SmackDown. So for me, kind of going back and seeing him as this tough badass, it's really doesn't compute. It's hard for me to kind of take him seriously, which is unfortunate, but I tried my best.
Like, he's one of my favorite wrestlers at this time, from like I think 96 to 99, just tremendous. I have fond memories of that debut match. I had such high expectations of Taz in WWF, and then it was just clearly just so quickly beaten out of you that he was a nobody and they had nothing to do. He's too small. He was great looking, like he had a great image. If he was like another foot taller, he would have been like super over. Because he was just such a machine looking. He was massive. But Taz is out and he's complaining to Joey Styles, and Joey criticizes about Joey criticizing Taz choking out RVD. This is sort of why they're having a match, I guess. And Taz asks Joey for a fight while the crowd egg them on, saying Joey will knock him out and all the rest of it. Joey apologizes, but Taz keeps taking it the wrong way. So Joey's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. I just found it funny." And he's like, "Oh, I'm a comedian now," like that line out of Goodfellas, I think it is. And Joey eventually leaves the ring, and Taz turns on Gertner and gives him 3 seconds to leave, but chokes him out with the Taz mission before he can. Taz cuts a promo on RVD, setting up their match, and he shakes Cyrus's hand, and we cut to the show intro. So there you go.
This intro is so amateur.
What do you mean? Do you not like the shaky cam and the...
It's way too long, first of all, and the graphics are super simple, and the thing that made me laugh is that, like, they're trying to show this montage of moves, but they're not doing just the impact of the moves. They're, like, showing the moves being set up and everything, and it just all looks very long and awkward. And I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious. I don't know.
Budget and ECW were not two things that went kindly together. They had no budget, which I don't know if you noticed throughout this show. There's no replays through the entire show until the very end. I don't know if you watched past the final match.
Yeah, they had like a highlight reel.
A weird highlight reel, and that was because they were having to edit the video throughout the show so that they could have that at the very end, because they didn't have an instant replay function at that stage. It wasn't like a case that they could, press a button and just show a replay. Couldn't do it.
Man, this made me think of when you asked me what I thought of like the presentation of All In that we reviewed, and I said it was pretty low budget. Man, compared to this is on this is on a different level of budget. Like negative budget.
Pretty much, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, I'd be surprised how much if anyone got paid really well for this. But there you go. So Simon Diamond's in the ring with Dick Hertz. Simon Diamond and Dick Hertz come out and they stand in the ring while the crowd chant, "You suck dick." I'm sure that you're not familiar with either of these lads, are you?
I've heard of Simon Diamond. I mostly know him as Dawn Marie's husband, or at least he was at one point.
Okay.
Never heard of Dick Hertz, and not really interested either.
Yeah, I think you spell Hertz as in like the rental car, like Hertz Rentals. So it's Dick Hertz.
But I
the
mean,
crowd is just.
we all get it.
We all get it. It's a 90s, and you can expect these sort of these in-your-face, jokes. Diamond cuts a promo on the crowd, and we get a lot of innuendos I've written here. Jazz interrupts, a young Jazz interrupts and slaps Simon. Dick hits her with the penile implant. Anything to say about the penile implant?
No, but I did write down this. 10 minutes in and we already beat up a woman.
In the 90s, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
I mean, Jazz was like, she's always been like presented as this badass woman.
Yeah.
Strange.
I don't really understand
really
her role
strange.
here. She just kind of came out, got beat up, and
But-
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into the show, but there's a lot of stuff that they could cut from the show that just wasn't needed, and this is one of those things. I didn't look up the show, beforehand. I didn't look at the results of the matches, and I didn't go back and watch, the Hardcore TV, I think it was called at the time, which was their TNT show or something, I think it was.
TNN, yeah.
TNN show. So there was no graphics to announce anything. Nobody announces, apart from the main matches on this card. You never get Joey Styles saying, coming up next, yada yada yada, coming up next, this and this. It's just like, what's going on now? Who's this? Why is this in the ring? What's happening here? Because we get Spike Dudley coming out, and he hits Dick with the acid drop, and we get all I've written here is we get an impromptu match between Spike and Diamond, because I have no idea if this was meant to happen.
The announcers actually said this is an unscheduled match, and I'm thinking, who is in charge? From kayfabe point of view, how do you have a pay-per-view that has a 2.5 hour limit? You have advertised matches, obviously, but then you also have unscheduled matches. That doesn't make any sense. Who's in charge? What if you run out of time? What a way to start.
Mess. Yeah. We don't even get Paulie on the show. We get a fake Paulie later, but we'll get into that. We get a spinning elbow to Diamond on the outside, a chair to Simon off the top, which is like a wooden chair. Mm-hmm. Really random, it looks sore. Simon comes up bleeding from it. There's a nice two Amigos suplexes into a Falcon Arrow by Diamond. Headbutt to Diamond's dick. Acid drop pin and win by Spike. And I don't have the times here because I forgot to write down the times on these matches, but I don't think it really matters too much.
A minute.
It was over in no time at all. The FBI, full-blooded Italians, Little Guido and Big Sal beat Spike up. Nova runs out and runs through the FBI. There's a plancha to the outside. Big Sal hits Nova. Jumping nothing by Nova. And then I've written here, cover with a question mark. I was like, what's going on now? Why is he going for cover? Is this another match?
I wrote, wait, what? Another unscheduled match?
Yeah, and then instantly I've written here, Nova versus Little Guido. So the crowd went very quiet because I'm pretty sure they had no idea what was going on here either. Guido waits on the top turnbuckle for Nova, and then we get an avalanche Samoan drop / DVD to Guido, which looked kind of impressive. I mean, Nova was pretty good. I remember some Nova matches, and he was a pretty cool wrestler.
Yeah, he had some cool moves. I know him better as Simon Dean, where he didn't do anything, but looked like a dork. But as Nova, he's much cooler. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like that Simon. I mean, it was a complete rip-off of the Dodgeball character, played by Ben Stiller, I think. But I kind of like that. I thought it was stupid, but I much prefer him as Nova.
My friend and I have this hilarious memory of Simon Dean, where he used to ride the scooter thing to the ring. I don't really know what it's like, a Segway. Yeah, a Segway.
Yeah.
He was riding it down the aisle, and Chris Benoit just ran up the aisle and chopped the shit out of him right off the Segway. And it's just hilarious visual. I don't remember even which show that was on, but it was just so funny. And me and my friend always talk about it.
Or Nova. So yeah, I mean, tremendous move off the top. We got a smash mouth to Guido, which is one of his moves. We got a tornado DDT to Big Sal. We get an unprettier to Nova by Guido for the pin, and then a big splash by Sal. And then I've got here Chris Chetty runs out to stop the FBI with impressive spin kicks. And then I've got in brackets here, Pirate Top. Did you see what this lad was wearing?
Yeah.
This was not 90s fashion. I have no idea what decade this come from apart from the 1600s.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who this dude even was.
I don't remember him that well, but the announcers seemed to really be impressed by him. They were kind of like, "Oh, it's Chris Chetty." Like, what's going on here? Is this another unscheduled match?
I think they were just really desperate and trying to like build up new stars because like half of this card is going to be gone in like 2 months to WCW and WWE.
My next, I'm not stopping here. My next note here says Danny Doring and Roadkill now run out. There's a double arm DDT by Doring to Chetty. Massive splash by Roadkill across the ring. Exclamation points after I've written here. And this is 25 minutes into the pay-per-view.
And this
All of that for
we had a 10-minute promo up to this too. So this is insanity. I wrote, what the fuck is happening? So many run-ins.
Oh man, this is amazing. We get my next note here says Chetty sells with comical O face. Have you ever seen there's a film is it called Office Space?
I've never seen it.
Have you ever seen it? Okay, there's a clip in it where the guy is talking to one of the main characters and he says, I showed her my O face. I will try and put a clip in if I can get one of it. Okay. It is hilarious. That is pretty much Chris Chetty selling. There's a fan in the crowd with binoculars. I don't know if you spotted this dude, but he legit had a pair of binoculars, like double. This isn't a big arena. Like, this isn't a massive arena. It's not like he was up in the bleachers.
Maybe it was his first time ever going to a show like this, and he didn't know what to expect. Because my dad, like, when I took him to a concert, we had pretty good seats, but he brought his binoculars anyway. So maybe it was a similar situation.
Maybe he's just refusing to get glasses, and he's just going through his life with a pair of binoculars in his pocket. Maybe. Dude, we laugh at that, but my mum, unfortunately, she's no longer around, but my mum refused to get glasses, and she used to read the newspaper with a magnifying glass, like she was some kind of detective.
Yeah. That's funny.
She refused to get glasses, but there you go. There's a fan in crowd binoculars. Next note says Jack Victory in a wheelchair. Tajiri and Steve Carino come out. It's so fast. Like, this is just from the start of the show. It's just like next. This is like WCW and Tony Schiavone going to the back every 2 seconds. We get Carino puts over Tajiri in a shouty, sweaty promo.
Wait, can I stop you right here for a second? Are we giving these star ratings?
Do you want to give the first?
Because I gave them star ratings.
Okay, we'll go for it. I didn't give them anything, but go for it.
So it's a 0 from you for both of these matches?
Yes, 0.
Okay, I guess I was very generous. I gave Simon versus Spike a 1 out of 5.
Oh, Jesus. That is generous.
Well, I was thinking half a star, but this is better than Jackie versus Disco, so...
Yes, okay, that's fair enough. I'll go with that, yeah, okay. 1.
Guido versus Nova, I gave 1.5 because of Nova's couple cool moves.
Okay, the technical ability, yeah.
Yeah, alright. And we're all caught up with the ratings so far.
Okay, you don't want to give Chris Chetty a rating? Does that count as a match? No?
I completely forgot he was on the show, so no rating.
No. I give him a star for his pirate top. Tajiri looks like his head hurts, is what I've got in brackets here. I'm not sure why. I think he was holding his head like he had a headache or something.
Maybe.
It was during the week I watched it, but yeah. Super Crazy comes out to his awesome theme. I don't know, some of the themes in this, like Sabu's theme and stuff, I'm not sure if they were dubbed over or if that just was their theme at the time.
So I actually checked Sabu's theme. It was his WWE theme, but he did use it as far back as 1998, so I think that was legit.
Okay.
Obviously, someone like Sandman got their theme replaced.
Oh boy, did he ever.
Yeah. I'm not sure about Super Crazy, though.
Yeah, I kind of like this one. I think this is the one he used in the ECW One Night Stand show that he was on, and I like this one. Jerry Lynn comes out with bandaged ribs and a generic dub over his theme. Yeah, he wasn't getting any of his original themes or anything like that. So we get Lynn versus Super Crazy versus Tajiri. This one started pretty cool. There's some great counters and flips. There's a Taran, as we say in Ireland, a Tarantula. There's a show in Ireland that pronounced it Tarantula on Irish television, Republic of Telly. So they get a tarantula to Lynn, and then Crazy by Tajiri. Lynn to Crazy off the top to the outside. There's an Asai moonsault by Tajiri to Lynn, and Crazy on the outside. There's in the crowd brawling. Crazy comes off some scaffold with a moonsault to the lads, which is just, I mean, this is his staple move, was climb up somewhere high and just fuck yourself off backwards and hit somebody, hopefully.
Yeah.
There's a surfboard by Crazy to Tajiri. Lynn with a bulldog to Tajiri out of the surfboard. Cradle pile driver by Lynn to Crazy. There's a brain buster by Tajiri to Crazy. A pin and eliminates Crazy, which is kind of disappointing because it wasn't too long after the start of the match. There's a classic springboard back elbow by Tajiri that he used to do all the time. This is like picture perfect.
Yep.
I've got a note here that just says Don Callis and Styles are great. At this stage, anyway. I got a bit frustrated with Don Callis later. Tornado DDT by Lynn to Tajiri off the top. There's buzzsaw kicks to the ribs. Cradle pile driver by Lynn for the win. And then we get Carino interrupting, but ends up receiving a cradle pile driver as well. I really like this match. I give it 4 stars. I thought that each one of them got to shine enough in the match, and overall, just if you want to see a classic sort of Super Crazy, crazy spots, and Tajiri in sort of his prime, and Jerry Lynn's just awesome. What do you think?
I thought this was, first of all, I think the elimination factor is kind of cool. I don't remember seeing a triple threat match like that where it's elimination. Kind of cool, but I wasn't too big on this match. I think it was pretty decent for what it was, but I just thought it was super rushed. I wish they had like 10 more minutes, because
I think it
was just like hit, move. There's zero selling and really fast pins. And one thing I noticed, the referee counts so fast in ECW. It's like twice the speed. So everything's just like breakneck pace. So that kind of killed it for me, but I give it 2.5 out of 5.
Oh, okay, I was way more generous. I give it 4.
That's okay.
But I think you hit the nail on the head. See if this was at the start and this got 25 minutes.
Yeah, this would be
great. I think this would have been a winner, or maybe not 25 minutes, but you know what I mean. It could have been like 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm sure everyone would have been really happy. We get an insert, sort of. Video of Angel stapling New Jack, and then it cuts to the back to the Baldies with Angel in the ring. I've got now. Cuts back to the Baldies in the ring. Generic Kings of the Street. I've no idea what that means. I think it's for the Baldies because they were very generic.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Angel I'm sort of familiar with, but these dudes were so generic. I have no idea.
I know Big Vito, and that's about it.
Was that Big Vito one of them? Oh, wow.
Which
okay.
It really surprised me because this is November 99, and I remember seeing him in WCW in 99, so he must have left, like, after the show. He probably went straight to WCW.
And then decided to do a leg drop off the top rope to the outside, and he broke his coccyx.
That was Johnny. That was his partner, Johnny.
Was that Johnny? Yeah. Is that Johnny? Johnny the Bull?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Was he the other one in the Baldies, or was that?
No.
No, some other generic bald dude.
Yeah, I don't know I know Big Vito. I don't know the other 3 dudes.
Okay. So Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney are out to the generic version of AC/DC Balls. This is another. I mean, there's quite a few crimes on the show. This wasn't one of the major ones, but this was pretty grim. Angel hot dogs while the lads beat up the Balls. Generic hip hop music plays, and out comes New Jack This was a crime to music. Like
the music never stops.
Yeah, it was. I mean, this was what happened for New Jack matches. I think it was either Natural Born Thrillers, I think, as they used to play, or something like that.
It was Ice Cube. The song was called Natural Born Killers by Ice Cube. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Yeah. And I'm sure with that song, it was probably better when it played the whole time. But with this generic, this generic West Coast 90s West Coast beat is just so annoying.
Yeah,
it went on for like 10 minutes.
It was pretty bad. I've got a note here. It says New Jack has a vacuum. New Jack hits Angel with a golf club. Vacuum to Angel's balls. Jack staples Angel in the balls. My next note here just says, I've no idea what's going on in this match. The Baldies are beating up balls in the ring.
Match?
It's bad, folks. It's really bad. Jack and Axel beat Angel elsewhere, so like he's outside the ring somewhere. Furniture is being built. They're stacking up tables and stuff. Jack comes off the top of a basketball backboard with a splashed Angel through the table,
which we do not get to see.
We barely get to see it. It's from like a distance.
The crowd, when they shoot this, the crowd is completely blocking the view of the table. So we basically just see New Jack fall down, and we have no idea. He could have landed on a soft mattress for all we know.
Yeah, well, I mean, he could have, because New Jack all of a sudden is back by ringside, so he didn't sell any of the splash. He's smashing an NES off of one of the bald lads' faces. I have just written, this is why I'm getting confused here in this match, because I have just written bald lads, because I don't know the names of these two guys, and they both look exactly the same.
ECW so low budget, they couldn't even get a PlayStation to break.
Just two bald white dudes. Yeah, just two bald white dudes getting smacked around the ring. This bald lad number 1 or number 2, he gets an NES off the face. There's a staple gun to Baldy number 2's skull. Angel blindsides Jack with a guitar. So like this dude just got splashed through a table by a guy who was off a basketball backboard, which is like, what, I don't know, how many feet up in the air?
Probably like 12, 14 feet. So pretty high.
Yeah. And he's straight back. Like New Jack was straight back. Angel comes straight back. So yeah, Angel blindsides Jack with a guitar shot. Pin and win. I've given this 1.5 stars. Just an absolute mess. No one sold anything, and the music can get in the bin because it was terrible. What do you think?
I did not like this at all. This was not enjoyable in the slightest. It was just violence for violence sake, and I'm sure. I mean, the crowd was really into it, so for that reason, I gave it a 1 because obviously they enjoyed it. But I'm not interested in this, and the music just made my ears bleed.
Okay, moving on.
Oh, I give this. Are you still there? Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my computer just like went black and I got scared. But we're back. We're good.
How many? So you give it 1 stars, wasn't it? 1.5. 1.
I give it a 1. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. Cyrus and Joey. I keep flipping between Cyrus and calling him Don Callis because he's on AEW at the moment as Don Callis. Yeah, it's Cyrus anyway at the time, with a weird diamond in his forehead at the time.
I don't know what that was about. But
I can't remember.
He had that in WWF also, where he was the Jackal.
That's right. Yeah, he was indeed, and he was meant to be the network executive or something while he was in ECW, but he's just. I'll get on to some comments about Cyrus later, but it's weird. They have a weird backstage moment where it's just really awkward. That's the only thing I've written about it here, but I do have a memory of it just being, well, just really awkward. It's just the two lads sort of stalling for time, and I think Cyrus mentions, and this is something he does really heavily later on. It's just he's talking about the boys. Like he's talking about like the backstage stuff that's going on, and this was the start of it. It's really weird. We get Sabu and Bill Alfonso backstage. Alfonso says that Sabu is dedicating the match to his friend Tycho. I can't remember. Ticho.
I think it was Ticho.
I can't remember now. Ticho, who passed away, which was kind of nice. It was out of the blue as well. And then we get Chris Candido and Tammy Lynn Cinch are next. Candido's trunks, I've got a note here, are right up his hole.
You know what I wrote down? Candido's trunks are almost as far up his ass as Piper's face was up Hogan's.
Yes, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Not seeing Hulk Hogan getting his ass eaten out by Roddy Piper, but I like that.
Oh my god.
Sabu and Alfonso are right next. So we get Chris Candido versus Sabu. So Don Callis / Cyrus makes a comment about Sabu always being banged up, but he's tough and he never sells it to the boys. And this was something I was like, what is this about? So he's talking about sort of backstage carny sort of lingo. Oh, he's not selling it to the boys. He keeps saying the word boys, the boys in the back, the boys. And I hate that sort of shit. I really do. That sort of locker room jock talk. I'm not a fan of it.
Especially back in the 90s when kayfabe was still pretty strong.
Yeah, it's the stuff that Vince Russo used to do in WCW. He'd be talking about the backstage. Oh, he wanted to go down for the pin, but the other guy said he wouldn't. You know, you didn't go with the script, Hogan, and all that sort of stuff. It just, I don't know who it was for. I think it was meant to appeal to some kind of hardcore internet fan base, but I mean, it wasn't that hardcore at that stage. All your hardcore fans were in the audience.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were ordering ECW pay-per-views at that time, you were probably pretty hardcore into it, even though you weren't in attendance. And also, you were probably, I think ECW fans were more in tune with the reality of the business, so I guess maybe it appealed more to them.
Quite possibly, yeah. So there's brawling to start this one. Candido slams Sabu off of a springboard kick. Candido gets sent over the top and Sabu does a faceplant dive, I've written here. It's not an actual move, it's just Sabu doing like a suicide dive but going face first down. It's sort of well, I've got a comment here later, but this is sort of like Sabu's like calling card. It's just taking these ridiculously scary moves by himself to the outside of the ring.
Yeah, he does more damage to himself in matches than his opponent does.
Yeah, I don't know if it says anything about his wrestling acumen, but he's always entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
There's a huge delayed vertical suplex by Candido, which looked great. He was super strong, super jacked, slightly swollen, is what I'd say about Chris Candido. Quite swollen. And there's a triple jump leg drop by Sabu. And my next note here says 60% of the time it works every time. Because this is like one of those moves that Sabu does that doesn't always connect, and I would say 60% of the time it works. So,
yeah, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, is he gonna mess it up? Oh, he got it. Yeah. Nice.
Is this going to be one of those Botchamania clips where you watch Sabu faceplant on the ground? Oh, it's not. There's a very near fall off of a Hurricane Rana. Cyrus says Candido's blown up again, like with the backstage. So they're always blown up. Sabu rolls off of a table as Candido leg drops himself through it. The crowd chant, "Show us your tits, it's sunny." I mean, this is...
They can go on the internet nowadays and see
back then they didn't have that kind of entertainment at their fingers. So
OnlyFans didn't exist back then.
Yeah, you've just got to chant obscenities at women. It's very uncomfortable looking back at now. There's some stuff later on as well, but we'll get to that. Sabu hits a poetry in motion off of a chair to Candido in the corner. Chris falls into the upright chair, which was great. Like his selling in this match. I thought, spoiler alert, this is a good match.
Yeah, I like this one.
My next note just says Candido was great. Sabu jumps into Candido in the crowd. There's a chair assist in between, so he jumps on the chair, or runs up onto the chair off the ropes and does like a jumping nothing, but sort of like a clothesline. The lads fight through the crowd back to the ring. There's a chair to Candido. Candido on a slanted table is leg dropped through it. There's a triple jump moonsault by Sabu, which misses. There's a beautiful avalanche suplex by Candido, which is like picture perfect. We get an Arabian press by Sabu. There's a Frankensteiner by Candido off the top. There's diving headbutt for a near fall. And then Don Callis mentions the effects of the diving headbutt. And I was like, yeah, he's kind of right. I mean, this would be, 99, Benoit would pass away in 2007. Staple move.
And in 99, Benoit was doing a dive off the cage in WCW.
I just have never understood the diving headbutt. I just think it's a stupid looking move. And Daniel Bryan / Bryan Danielson would do it as well.
Yeah.
And I never understood why the WWE let him do it, because it was just, they had Chris Benoit, they knew what happened, how bad he was, concussed. If it goes wrong, you can end up with a massive concussion, which Daniel Bryan has had, / Bryan Danielson. So it's never liked it, and don't like it here either. Candido's set up on a table, but instructs Tammy, as he's lying there, to sort of stop Sabu from diving. And as she does, Alfonso clocks her in the back with a forearm. So more that women violence, on an ECW show. Man on woman violence. And we get she gets put onto the table, but Candido pushes her off before getting leg dropped by Sabu through the table for a near fall. It was slightly delayed. Like, he pushes her off, then he waits there a second, and then Sabu jumps off. If they'd done it a little bit more smoothly, this would have been like chef's kiss. Really good. I really did like the spot. But it's just a wee bit slow. There's a Arabian face buster to the back off Candido's head, which is the chair. He dives off the top rope with the chair, and then there's a camel clutch / Arabian clutch, I think he called it, for the submission win. I give it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this match.
Okay. Yeah. I really enjoyed this match as well, but I'm not giving it as high as you. I'm actually giving it 3 out of 5, above average. I guess if I had to criticize something about it is, I'm not really sure. Like, it just felt like, again, they weren't selling as much as they probably should. But this was the longest match on the card, which also surprised me. And was there like a feud behind this, or was it just kind of random? Because I don't think they ever mentioned it. And also, it kind of felt like they were both baby faces, because when Candido lost, the commentators were saying like, oh, well, even though he lost, he's been made a star today for his efforts, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a feud. It just seemed to be a bit of an exhibition match, although Sabu was sort of treating it like, it felt before the match when they were doing the promo with Sabu backstage, it felt like it was some kind of blood feud, but then it turned out to just be a regular match, and he was just dedicating it to his mate. So
yeah, so it's
a strange one.
This is probably the best Sabu match I've seen, although I've not seen very many of them. But yeah, this is a good match. When I start comparing my ratings to other matches, that's why I kind of have to give it a 3 out of 5 and not higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, as you say, like, the commentators put Candido over. I don't think so. I think either Candido had been in WCW with Sonny, or this was, I think maybe he moved to WCW after this.
He goes to WCW when they reboot it in 2000 and do the New Blood angle. That's when they come in, because then in WCW he wins the cruiserweight title, even though he's like 240 pounds.
Jesus, yeah, what is that about? Yeah, just a massive swollen. He looked unhealthy, even though he was well built. He just had that swollen sort of chest, swollen belly, swollen arms, everything. He looked tight in his skin, and that's not good. It's not a good look. And then obviously Sonny / Tammy Sitch and stuff. I mean, ups and downs. I don't know if they were both into drugs or whatever, but she's had a rough career. I think she's in jail now, which is kind of sad to see. She was doing porn for a while, but now she's in jail. Last I saw,
she was doing OnlyFans, and doing porn, and I don't know what she's doing. She does not look good anymore, but at least back in this clip, on this pay-per-view, she looked pretty good still.
Yeah, she hasn't aged well, unfortunately. I think drugs have played a major role in that.
Yeah.
We get Masato Tanaka backstage with a quick promo, and a fella with a gavel pretending to be a judge tries to cut a promo for Mike Awesome, a guy called Judge F. Jones. This guy seemed like such an amateur. This is so weird. Mike Awesome did not need this dude. It was bizarre, but it was what it was. Commentators do a much better job of selling this match, apart from Callis, who sells knowing the outcome. And this was just, what is this about? And Joey Styles is like, what are you talking about? And he's like, come on, Joey, you know the outcome. You know what's happening here. And it's like,
did he say? I didn't catch that for some reason. Did he really say that?
He says something along those lines where he's sort of hinting, or he's arguing back and forth with Joey. It was just It's either this or it's one of the later matches, but I'm pretty sure it was this one.
Okay.
There's a daft skit with Louis Dangerously. So you're made to believe it's Paulie, Paulie Dangerously. Paul Heyman, but it's not. I didn't understand the point of this. I guess it was just this, waste time. This Francine in the back with him. It's just really weird.
Yeah, and he fires Jazz for some reason.
It's just, and then they sort of laugh at him, and then security chucks him out. I don't know if this was a storyline at the time, if something had happened to Paulie. I don't know, but
yeah, I thought maybe they would follow up on it later in the show, but they never did.
I was hoping they wouldn't, and they didn't, so it was good.
Well, okay.
So next match is Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome. This is sort of like a classic feud, I guess, for this period. Mike Awesome, who is the ECW World Champion, and this is for the championship. So Tanaka always looked great, but he looked awesome here. Again, he sort of had that swollen syndrome where he was looking a wee bit swollen.
Yeah.
But I just thought he was class. And so did Mike Awesome. He just looked huge here as well. We didn't get the... I don't know what theme music they were using for Mike Awesome at the time, but we got that sort of dub over. I think it was his WCW theme, maybe. It was the...
It wasn't his WCW theme. I didn't recognize this song, so I'm not sure what it is.
But it did have his name. Maybe it was his ECW theme, but it had his name in it. It was Awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's
his
true.
name. So I don't know where it came from. I don't think he was in... Maybe he was in WWE for a cup of coffee at the One Night Stand, because they did do this match in 2005, I think.
He was in WWE during the invasion, and then he was basically exclusive to Velocity in 2002.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good lord. Imagine putting somebody like Mike Awesome on Velocity. I know he probably couldn't talk to save his life, but I mean...
I don't want to go
just
like
incredible.
Too far off tangent, but him and Chris Canyon kind of in the same boat because they both killed themselves, and they were both great talents, and they were both getting pinned by Funaki on Velocity in 2002.
Yeah, maybe self-worth, and just got the better of him. It's sad because he's so impressive. He's so impressive. Such a he looks like a wrestler, you know.
Yeah.
He towers above everyone on that roster as well, which is
he's like
kind of crazy.
He's like I don't even know, like a Kevin Nash, but like a really athletic Kevin Nash.
Yeah, and you know, as we know, he would go on to WCW just a year later, I believe, and they wouldn't know what to do with him. They turned him into he came in as Mike Awesome, and then they just turned him into that 70s guy, Mike Awesome, because obviously that 70s show was on at the time, and they thought it'd be funny.
Fat Chick Thriller, and then he became Canadian.
Just weird. Just, I don't know how you waste a guy like that. Yeah. But I mean, we're in 2021 and we're seeing people like Ricochet and, you know, these other wrestlers that just, you know, they're phenomenal talents and they just get wasted.
Mike Awesome in modern day would go far.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think so.
Same with Chris Canyon.
Oh, huge. Yeah, massively. I mean, he was, you know, one of the, I guess, friends with like the Young Bucks and stuff. So he influenced them and he's influenced a lot of other people. So it's, there is a step-up elbow back strike off the second turnbuckle by Mike, which is where he like runs up the turnbuckle a little bit and then does like a back strike. Looked awesome. Tanaka flies off the top to the outside. There's a dive over the top rope by Mike Awesome, which The Undertaker used to do, but this is just like, this was incredible. Seeing this big dude doing this, and he would do it all the time. It's just amazing. There's a springboard clothesline from the ring to Tanaka in the crowd, which was incredible because again, Tanaka's not a small dude. He's shorter than Mike Awesome, but he's massive.
He's about 250 pounds.
Yeah. And then we get the Ballad of the Unprotected Chair Shots I've written here. This was again a staple of like ECW and a staple of Mike Awesome and Tanaka's feud. We get a roaring elbow to Awesome for a near fall. There's a side slam off the top with a chair to Awesome. There's a swinging DDT to Awesome on a chair. There's a sit-out powerbomb by Awesome to Tanaka on a chair. And then there's a sit-out Awesome bomb to Tanaka through a table on the outside. And then there's this insane snap superplex to Awesome through a table in the ring. The speed and velocity of this snaps, I've never seen a snap suplex off of the top rope. This was like
Yeah.
so fast through the table. It looked painful.
Yeah, it was awesome. No pun intended.
There's a gash on Mike's right leg on his like buttock from going through the table.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And then we get a diamond dust by Tanaka for a near fall, which is just an awesome move, which is sort of like a Stone Cold Stunner, but he like comes off the top. It's just incredible. Just Google Tanaka diamond dust. It's amazing. Snap German to Tanaka on the back of his head / neck I've gotten here, which is just incredible. And then we get an awesome splash. Massive, I've put it in capital letters here. Massive frog splash by Awesome. It was like
This is a 10.
3/4 of the ring over to where Tanaka was.
It was like
It was
a 10-star
unbelievable.
frog splash.
And then we get an avalanche sit out awesome bomb for the pin and win. I went very high for this one. I gave it 4.75.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was honestly, I thought it was incredible. The only thing that detracted it for me was the chair shots. But the action and the speed, it was fast, it was snappy, the moves were incredible, the dudes looked awesome, pun intended, and just, great match.
Yeah, these
I
guys
thought.
were just
what do you think?
killing each other. This is my favorite match of the night. I really enjoyed this. Very hard hitting, very realistic almost, besides the fact that, again, not very much selling. Everything is a little bit rushed again. I don't know what's with this show. I don't know if all ECW shows are like this, but they have like no time for selling whatsoever. They just do a move, get right back up to the next one. So that really kind of takes me out of it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the match. I initially gave it 4 out of 5, but then I kind of sat on it and I was like, all right, I'll give it 3.5. So that's my final score.
Oh, Jesus.
3.5.
3.5. Wow, I love this match. I thought it was the best match on the show for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I'm sticking my guns. I thought it was good.
Okay, that's fine.
We get a quick promo by Styles to put over the next match, which is Taz versus RVD for the ECW World TV Championship, which is really weird to say, considering we've just had the World Championship on. But I guess
very weird order of matches, especially when you consider what the main event is. Like, what?
Yeah, it's really bizarre, the order of these matches. So it's pretty much, spoiler alert, downhill from here.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it. So there's a crap dub of Over the Top of Walk by Pantera, which I think is what RVD was using at this time. Oh man, this is just such a killer. Like, you can see the crowd like chanting along. You don't even get it, like his WWE theme. It's so weird. Like, it's bizarre because you also like have RVD doing the typical, like he would like chat to the camera, so you would hear him, and he's like, you know, just telling the world how great he is, and he's slagging off the opponent and stuff, and you don't get any of that here because you can't hear him because the dub of the music is just like, it's just so loud you can't hear anything. It was really sad seeing this one.
Yeah, this I wasn't not feeling this music, but at least it was not his TNA music.
Yeah, that was pure shite.
Yeah.
I will say that, you know, there's a great big feel for this match. Like this felt like a really big deal. And the intro by the ring announcer and stuff, where he was introducing RVD and then he was introducing Taz, was really cool. And I thought like Taz looked awesome coming out here. This is sort of looks like classic Taz as I remember him, you know, with this sort of towel over the top. He looks, I mean, I don't know if he was inspired by Minoru Suzuki, but he is basically Minoru Suzuki, if you can imagine. If you haven't seen Taz wrestling, he is basically doing Minoru Suzuki's gimmick in 1996 to 1999, and it's awesome. The crowd, well, there's chain wrestling and hot dogging to start. This is a very slow match. Mm-hmm. The crowd are not happy with Taz, with this being his last, you know, match, as we sort of talked about. Taz just looked like he couldn't be bothered. Like, he was slow, he looked grumpy, he wasn't really, you know, there was no hurry about him. There's a brawl into the crowd. The lads end up back in the ring. Taz chop blocks RVD as RVD's hot dogging to the crowd with his RVD taunt. There's a capture suplex by Taz. There's a Tazplex for a table to RVD. There's a massive Van Daminator off the top rope to Taz, who has a chair. They mess up a move on the top, which leads to a split-legged moonsault while the crowd chant, "You fucked up." There's a massive 5-star frog splash for the pin and win by RVD. As I say, it was slow. It wasn't a whole lot going on. When it did, the capture suplexes by Taz was awesome, but I give it... I've been generous here. I gave it 2.5 stars just because I love Taz. But what did you think?
Yep, 2.5 is what I also gave it. So we're finally on the same page about something.
Yes.
But yeah, this was pretty slow, and I wrote it's kind of sloppy. They botched quite a few spots, I feel like, and considering the caliber of the stars in the ring, it was kind of surprising about how sloppy it was.
Yeah.
Maybe RVD was a little too high that day. I don't know.
He did come out to a big plume of smoke from the entranceway, so maybe that wasn't the smoke machine. Maybe that was just him coming out from the back.
It was just his locker room. He opened the door.
His aura.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just getting prepared for his match, warming up, or blazing up, whatever you prefer. Yeah, I mean, this is Taz's last match. He would go on to the Royal Rumble 2000 debuts against Kurt Angle, but he would be back. Mike Awesome, as we talked about, would end up in WCW, and Mike was the ECW World Champion at the time. So what they did, which is really weird, was they got Taz to come from WWF into ECW and beat Mike Awesome for the ECW World Championship. And then you would see Taz taking on Triple H on Raw, and he would be announced as the ECW World Champion, and then Triple H would just squash him.
I remember that, yeah. It's so
and that was a
weird.
crime.
That was like the first forbidden door. It was an ECW guy. No, it was a WCW guy against a WWF guy in a ECW ring. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess.
Too many CWs in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, why couldn't they just have Mike Awesome fight someone else? Why was it Taz? Do you know?
From what I remember, I don't know if this is the death throw of ECW and this was some kind of agreement. Well, obviously there was an agreement between the WWF and ECW and Paul Heyman. I don't know if it was because Taz was a legit, like, I think it was black belt in judo or something, or like he was just the best suited, that if Mike Awesome didn't do the job, Taz could have probably sorted him out. I'm not sure. I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but I remember, I have a loose memory anyway, shall we say, of like Taz being picked because he would probably have destroyed Mike Awesome if they were in a legit fight, but I'm not sure. That might just be hearsay.
Yeah, I remember hearing that there was like a rumor that they wanted Mike Awesome to bring the ECW belt with him to Nitro and kind of throw it in the trash, similar to what Medusa did. And I think Paul Heyman was like really paranoid about that, so that's probably why he wanted to get the belt off of him.
I'm pretty sure that they would have had quite a few guys backstage anyway that would have stopped Mike Awesome from leaving the building if he did decide to just not sell and run out of the ring. I'm pretty sure Mike Awesome would have been making out of the venue at that time with that belt. But yeah, it's kind of sad to see anyway that this is the end of Taz and the end of Mike Awesome, really, because he doesn't do anything after this. So.
Yeah.
The lads shake hands afterwards, which I thought was kind of nice. RVD sort of, that he left on amicable terms, I guess, by the end of it. The crowd they weren't too, chanty at the end. They weren't telling him to F off or anything, which was kind of nice. Because I do think he did do a lot for ECW. He started off his ECW career as the Tasmaniac, which was just daft. And then I think he's like one of the first wrestlers that introduced this MMA style and believability. I think ECW had a lot of that. They wanted things to be believable. That it wasn't a stretch of the imagination to see that these guys were legit tough guys, and I think Taz sold it really, really well because he did have an MMA background, or at least an amateur one. Our next match, triple threat match, Rhino and the Impact Players, which is Lance Storm and Just Incredible, with the world's sexiest man, apparently, Jason.
Did you mean to say 6-man tag? Because you said triple threat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it's a 6-man tag match, yes.
Because when you said triple threat, I was like, wait, did I miss something? Because I don't have that in my notes.
Yeah, I think my attention at this stage by seeing Jason and just incredible, and I like Lance Storm, but yeah, not a team that I fondly remember.
Yeah, really weird combination.
Absolutely, yeah, and they are taking on the team of Raven, Tommy Dreamer, and the returning Sandman.
This was interesting. I forgot Sandman was in WCW as Hardcore Hack. Yeah. He came out with barbed wire wrapped around him. Yeah, that was a weird run. But yes, his comeback, I guess, was a big deal. So maybe that's why this was the main event.
Well, Don Callis says that he did say that Sandman's never been in such great shape. And I would debate that.
Well, maybe up to that point, because I think his best shape was probably his WWE run later on.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
He looked somewhat healthy. He didn't have like a 100-pound gut.
Yeah, he was rocking that here. Joey Styles makes, I don't know if you caught this, Joey Styles makes a quip that he heard at a company picnic, which, they must have done all the time at ECW, having a company picnic. But he heard at a company picnic that Jason once won a 3-legged race by himself.
What? I have to think.
I don't know if this was like his gimmick, that he was just a well-endowed man, but this is what you would normally say to somebody who's well-endowed. He could win a 3-legged race by himself. Just bananas. I never understood the Jason character, because he doesn't really wrestle, and he looks straight out of a trailer park. It's strange, very strange. Yeah, so we get Dawn Marie, who comes out with Lance Storm, and people, including the announcers, lose their mind. And I just have a note here that just says gross.
I just
Don
remember
Callis.
what Don Callis said.
Yeah, we won't go into that. He's very, very happy to see the women, especially Dawn Marie. Francine's out with Dreamer, and equally, people lose their mind.
Jesus Christ. She might as well come out naked, because what's the point?
She wasn't wearing much, I'm pretty sure.
How could she even move in that, like, without something coming out,
Lots of sellotape, or double-sided tape, I'm pretty sure. I think Don Callis at one stage says it looks like she's wearing a napkin, or Joey Styles says it looks like she's wearing a napkin, and Don Callis says pass the napkin or something. It's that sort of level of humour you're going to get on the show if you do go to watch this, folks. We hardly get any music for Raven, which I was ripping for, because, well, I mean, I knew we weren't going to get the music, but I loved when Raven would come out to The Offspring, come out and play. It's one of my favourite Raven entrance themes, just when he comes out and he's just lethargic. It just goes really, really well with him. He's one of my favourite wrestlers at that time.
Yeah.
Taz and Raven, 2 top ECW wrestlers at that time. Not so much now, but back then, just tremendous.
Actually, this was Raven's comeback from WCW too. Well, not this specific show, but he recently came back, yeah.
It was indeed, yeah. And then he wouldn't be in ECW for much longer afterwards either. It was a funny story. It was Eric Bischoff. He was he had sat down with a lot of talent. He had been giving off to Eddie Guerrero at the time and telling him off, and just spouting out loads of shit. And he turned around to the guys in the locker room at the time, and he said, if anyone wants to get up and leave, they can. And Raven was one of the first people that stood up and said, right, see you later.
Yeah.
And walked out and managed to get his release, which is kind of incredible. And that would start off a trend that people were not happy in WCW at the time. So yeah, he still looked in relatively decent shape here. So the drugs hadn't taken effect yet, but give it time. We get... Yeah, I mean, this is the crime of the century, I guess, for whenever you sort of see a Sandman match. No Enter Sandman by Metallica. It just ruins the entrance. You could see people, again, losing their shit, going crazy. I mean, this is a very lengthy entrance. There's hardly any noise.
I do love his WWE theme song, which is played here, but it does not fit the situation.
It's crap compared to Enter Sandman. I've got a note here, and it says, Sandman looks hammered. I mean, he looked so drunk here. He feeds a beer to a fella in the crowd, and it takes an ice age for him to get into the ring. He nearly falls off one of the barricades. I mean, did you think he looked drunk? Was it, or was it just me? He was bleary. His eyes were glazed over. He just...
To me, he always looks drunk, so I can't even tell like what his default state is. At this point, I'm assuming drunk is his default state.
Just pickled. He is pickled himself, and he's just in a constant state of it.
He always looks like he just had a stroke or something, or he's about to fall over at any moment.
Oh man, this match, it starts with 13 minutes left on the clock, and we've already highlighted. I mean, 13 minutes of the actual video. We've already said that there is a full replay or highlight reel of this match. So let's say that that's 3 minutes. So let's say that there's 10 minutes for this match.
Yeah.
By the time Sandman gets in the ring. Rhino and Sandman start, while Raven and Dreamer have a nice chat in the corner, which was really weird when you think about what happens later. But they were just literally, chatting away to each other and just looking around them. They're just so disjointed from the match. It was so crazy. And the story of this match is credible. The initial story of the match is just incredible. Ducking the Sandman. He's calling himself the hardcore icon, and Sandman is renowned for being the hardcore icon, I guess. There's a powerbomb by Rhino to Sandman off the top rope not long after the start of this match, which is just bananas. Raven hits Dreamer and takes the tag off of Sandman, and then nearly kills Just Incredible. Did you see this?
Yeah.
This was bananas. And this plays into later in the match, which we'll get to, where Raven can't be trusted. So he hits Tommy Dreamer in the face. There's nothing happens because of it. Tommy Dreamer doesn't get in the ring and go, "What are you doing?" He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then he nearly kills Just Incredible. It's two shit moments in close sequence. It was so bizarre.
Yeah. This whole match just didn't make sense to me.
No. So Just Incredible ends up is it like a suplex or something he takes into the ropes and lands on his neck, and then you can see Francine, she's in the background covering her face, and she looks stunned. She couldn't believe it. I mean, I was like, holy shit, it took me a second. There's a gore by Rhino to Raven. There's a hilariously, Sandman ends up in a tree of woe from an Irish whip.
Oh yeah.
And the crowd laughed, as I did.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
I mean, this is the slowest. If you imagine, think of Shawn Michaels, where he would flip himself into the turnbuckle and then end up in a tree of woe, or roll backwards into the ring.
Yeah.
He looks like a tired boy when he goes up. It's so bizarre.
I don't think I've ever seen that spot before from anybody.
I mean, I've seen Shawn Michaels do it, but I've never seen it done this slow.
Did Shawn Michaels get caught in a tree of woe?
He would usually flip back into the ring,
Yeah.
and then stagger out the ring and then kicked in the face or something,
Yeah.
or something like a pedigree or whatever. But yeah, this is super slow. I mean, I liked the effort.
Yeah.
If he was 12 cans down, I like the effort, but I mean, this was so slow. It was time had stopped still at this stage, in this match.
It's like Matrix.
The crowd loved it. I mean, they thought it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. At least they got a laugh. There's an even flow DDT to Credible by Raven for a near fall, broken up by Storm. Rhino ends up on a table on the outside, and after tricking Dreamer again and drop toe holding him through a table, Raven ends up through the table. This was so bizarre. It was they put Rhino on the table. They go in the ring with a chair. Tommy Dreamer has set up a chair he's going to run off the ropes and then springboard, like Sabu would do, run up the chair onto the ropes or something, which Tommy Dreamer's never, to my knowledge, ever done.
Yeah.
But I mean, as soon as they did this and he goes off the ropes, I knew exactly what was happening, because this is a classic Raven move, where he would get the chair set up and then do a drop toe hold into the chair, and lo and behold, silly Tommy falls for it. And it was just, I had no sympathy. I had no sympathy for either of these dudes. It was just so stupid. Storm ends up getting gored as Sandman slowly sidesteps. Right, this is another. Sandman just slowly, drunkenly
Sandman
walking
is
around the
probably
ring.
in no shape to sell the gore, so that's why he was like, "I'm not taking it."
He's not quite Jeff Hardy in, was it Victory Road or Bound for Glory, that time where he fought against Sting and it was he's not quite that level, but he's a tired boy anyway. He's due for his bed. He's due for his bed not long after this. There's a cat fight, which we get the classic Joey lines.
It's
the Joey Styles cat fight. We do indeed. And between Don Marie and Francine, they just roll around with their holes out, and the crowd are loving this. And then we get a creepy forced kiss by Sandman to Don Marie, and
every segment of the show when there's a woman, either beat her up or pretty much soft rape her or spank her, or oh my god, this show is just so trashy, man. Like, that's what I wrote down. Like, ECW is just trash.
Yes, it's not great, like, is it? So Raven and Sandman go to hit Credible with kendo sticks, but wouldn't you know, Raven ends up hitting Sandman. Surprise, surprise. And then he regrets it. He sort of holds his head in his hand, and I'm like, why are you regretting it? This looked like you did it on purpose. Very bizarre. And then we get an incredible. We get a That's Incredible to Sandman by Just Incredible, which is a tombstone pile driver, like a jumping pile tombstone on like his knees. It's really incredible that he can do it. So yeah, it's all in the name. I give this 2 stars. This was a mess. This really was this was Sandman returning, and he loses in his return match. I don't like those. I don't like it when they do that.
That's
I know
weird.
Raven interfered, but this is his first match back. There was a big fight feel to it, and then it just went off a cliff. Yeah, what did you think of this one?
Also, giving this a 2, like, 5 of these guys are capable of some great matches. The one who's not is Sandman. The other 5, they can have some great matches, and this was, like you said, this was just a mess. One thing I wrote down is they called Rhino the Rookie Monster, which
I noticed that as well.
I thought was kind of like almost like a backhanded compliment. Like, okay, he's a monster, but he's a rookie monster. So when I think of that, it's like a little baby animal. I don't know. It doesn't sound intimidating at all. So
it was bizarre. It was really bizarre. I didn't like that at all. I thought it was stupid. This is your new your big beast you've got in, and Rhino's always been big.
Yeah, and I get it.
Jesus.
He's young. They said he was 22 or 23 or something like that, which was
Yeah,
pretty
very
impressive.
young.
Yeah, but like they could have came up with a better nickname for him. Another thing I wrote is Just Incredible is Brandon Cutler's dad. Because to me they look kind of the same.
Yeah, they've got the bald look going. Maybe we'll get Brandon Cutler doing an impression of Just Incredible. Maybe he could dress up as him as Halloween one time. I liked Just Incredible. I have fond memories of him. I mean, he is really good. He was Aldo Montoya in. He was the Portuguese Man of War in WWF in the New Generation period. He was sort of like a luchador, I guess, at one stage, and now he's this sort of hardcore character. He would obviously go on to form one of the greatest tag stables in the entire world ever, which is, you know it. You know what time it is.
Now you're dealing with the X Factor.
Uncle Cracker, the entrance theme, the pink lighting, amazing. Just Albert, X-Pac, and Just Incredible. What a tag team! What a stable. They got absolutely robbed. They didn't get enough of a run of those guys, but
Pretty much the 3 Horsemen.
Absolutely agreed. They could have gone on to so many great things, but politics backstage must have just buried them.
My dream is X Factor versus the original NWO. That would have been a good feud.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it would have been the slowest feud in the world. Yeah. So what do you think of the show overall?
So, honestly, I was pretty disappointed with this show. I was really disappointed with Halloween Havoc that we did. So I was kind of hoping this would be quite a bit better, but unfortunately, I can't say that it was. Overall, I give this show a 4 out of 10, which is 2 stars, I guess. the in-ring work is good, but they don't sell anything. Everything is super rushed. Like, that's my biggest complaint about the show, is how rushed it is. I would have cut out the first half hour of the show with the promo in the beginning and the first 2 matches. I would have gotten rid of those. And I would have made the rest of the matches longer, and I would have rearranged the matches in a different way. Maybe make the 6-man tag as the opener so that people get excited about Sandman right away. Definitely the world title match should have went on last, because that was the best match, and it's the world title. So the degradation of women, even by like the 90s standards, I feel like was a bit much, because this was just sad. This is like, if I was watching this and my parents walked in, I would have been embarrassed, I think. I mean, right now. Maybe if I was 15 years old or so, I would think this was much... I'm sure I would like this a lot more than I do now. So yeah, that's what I thought about it. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree. Everything you've just said there. I think it has... I think those segments with the women, they had their place in history. They are better left to history because they haven't aged well, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, because things have changed now. You know, women get a lot more respect. Well, mostly. And yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a mess, the entire show. I'd probably give it overall, maybe a 4 out of 10 if we're going by that system. 2.5 out of 5 if we're going to go by that the 5-star system. It's not on Grapple, by the way, folks. If you are thinking about going, it's not there. It may be at some stage, so we can historically go back and add the star ratings if need be. It's fun to see an ECW show, but they're fun in moderation, I think. I think once in a while, it's nice to visit ECW World and see what craziness is happening. It's nice seeing some of the wrestlers and getting, there's a couple of good matches. If you take the super crazy Tajiri, Jerry Lynn match, that's good. You've got the Sabu versus Chris Candido, I thought was good, and then you've got the world title match, which I thought was great. So there's 3 matches you can take away from this. There is a positive, but the negatives, I do think outweigh the overall show. I think that the show itself is too long. Yeah, you're 100% right. Cut half an hour, and then just get a snappier start to the show. Maybe have your fast opener between Tajiri and Super Crazy to start with, or maybe the 3-6-person tag match with Raven and all those ones, and just tidy up the match. Maybe it would have been better having Sandman at the start of the show because he might not have been so drunk. I guess maybe he would have been like 6 cans in as opposed to like 12. Maybe you would have got that spot going a bit faster when he went into Tree of Woe. But I mean, overall, it was fun. I had a lot of fun watching this. It was an easy watch compared to the WCW show we watched. You've got to pick and choose these events. Dabble in a shit show in amongst some good shows, and I think we'll be winning.
Well, I've picked the last 2 shows, and they've both been pretty shitty, I would say. So I'm excited for you to pick the next one. I'm sure it's going to go up from here.
Okay, well, yeah, we are going to stay in November.
Okay.
We're going to stay in November, but we're going to stay in November 2002.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to go to the Survivor Series 2002 by WWF.
That's the one I wanted.
Nice. This is the first ever Elimination Chamber match. This is when Bischoff was the general manager. I have lots of fun memories about this show. I cannot wait to see this one because I'm not sure if they're going to still hold up or if this is going to be pure gold. But yeah, we're going to get some interesting debuts, and we're going to get some interesting... Get a fucking mic. Spoiler alert. We're going to get some good stuff, so hopefully you'll all be there to join us for that one, and that'll be out in 2 weeks' time. So I think Survivor Series is coming out in roughly a week or 2 weeks, so we'll hopefully tie in with that. I'm not going to watch Survivor Series this year.
We're watching 2002, not 21.
Yes, 100%. So there you go. So that's something to look forward to. I guess
I'm excited about it.
Good. I'm glad we're in agreement. Then this is going to be positive thoughts about this one. But the only thing left is to sort of promote our social medias. So you can follow us at WrestleBlast podcast on Twitter with at WrestleBlast. You can follow me at Lostero, and they can follow you. Where can they get all your stuff that you've been doing?
So actually, I am starting a new project, which is kind of in its early stages. I think it's probably too early to promote, but basically, I'm turning my YouTube channel into what I'm calling the Backlog Diary, which is where I'm gonna play. Well, I am playing a bunch of games, and I just record full playthroughs. And I edit them, and I don't have any commentary or anything, but I kind of edit them into like a Netflix style episodes, and I upload them like all videos at once as full playlists, like a season of a show, and that's what I'm doing. The channel is called Andreezy21. It's actually my same one. I'm just changing it around. So yeah. That's what I'm doing.
What do you have a first game that you're starting off with?
I did Halo Reach, and I uploaded Alan Wake. I've already edited Halo 1, which is not uploaded yet, but that will be coming up. And basically, Grand Theft Auto 3 is going to be coming up soon. The rest of the Halos, including the new one, Infinite. So yeah, just it's kind of a fun way for me to keep track of what I play, because I've over 1,000 games, and I always struggle picking and choosing what to play next. So this is my way of kind of documenting my playthroughs, and also I know that there are some people that like to watch video games, like even I do. Sometimes I put on these long videos called long plays, just kind of like as background noise or whatever. And I know that some people enjoy that without commentary and stuff, so I just kind of wanted to do that.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Happy days. Okay. Well, you know what'll be... I mean, yeah, awesome. That sounds class. You should definitely do like a review afterwards. So once you've done your long plays and stuff, then maybe you could do like a... cut all the videos together of like you playing it, and then do like a review of the video games as well, just to sort of see if it either stacked up still to your memory and stuff. That'd be kind of cool as well.
Maybe I was thinking about doing that like in the description, but not very many people read descriptions, so maybe I will do that.
Maybe cap off your playlist with like a nice review, what you thought of the game or something. Would be kind of cool to see. That's kind of cool. And so you're on at Twitter at Andreezy as well, isn't it? Andreezy21, is it?
Andre _Wakefield.
Ah, there you go. Okay, well, it's goodbye from me, and
goodbye from me too. I'm throwing up the peace sign, which you cannot see, but it's there.
Okay. Nice one. Bye-bye.